Okay, I realize it's been over a year since the last Mike Finds Things, but we're back. I think our last video was October of 22. I've had people ask me when I was going to bring it back. I had no idea, and I just decided to bring it back. I did find some records last week at a sale. I have records I've found at other sales that I have not done videos on, obviously, because it's been over a year. So we're just going to jump right into this. Some people watch my other channel, which is just my name, Mike Frankovich, where I shoot car shows. That's kind of taken over my life. That video is over 21,000 subscribers at this point. And I'm going literally all over Southern California, Arizona, Nevada to film car shows for that. So often those are on the weekends at the same time as the state sales where I find most of my records. So as you can understand, it's been a problem. So let's see what's here. All right, this actually came from a sale in Highland Park, not that far from here. I was listed as an estate sale. Essentially what happened was it was like a company that got contractor either bought out some guy's estate, moved everything to their house, and did it that way. Unfortunately, we got some workers working next door, so Mike might pick that up. There's nothing I can do about it. I found just shoot the dang video because before when I was doing these, I would always go crazy because someone would always have something going on at their house or something. So let's just work through this. Anyhow, so they had a bunch of stuff. Supposedly the guy was like a Korean War veteran. He had a lot of great records, as you'll see. I bought a lot of 45s and a few LPs. And there's a lot of instrumental and surf in here. So let's just roll right into this. We're going to start off. This is one I find a lot locally because this was more of a local hit. It's Bobby Fuller 4 Letter Dance. I believe this was a this is more of like a local record. This is before they did like I Fought the Law and all that on Mustang Records. This was a record label run by Bob Keane, who of course of Delphi. This one I look him up on Discogs as best I can. It says low of 5, mid 25, and high of 5164. I have found these before locally. I mean, this one was really nice. This one, I probably have a couple copies of this already, but this one, like, this guy's records were mostly, like, amazing condition. Like, this guy definitely took care of his stuff. Like I said, this one was missing. Most of these were missing. I think these were all pretty much missing the sleeve, except for a couple of them, but they were still in good shape. They weren't, like, destroyed like a lot of times when you find loose 45s. So there's that one. So that is a record I do find locally on occasion because I believe it was probably a local radio hit before Bobby Fuller 4 went national. This is another one that says low of 99, mid 288, and high of 10. And we're going to find some more. We have a very special record from this band coming up, sort of. This is Surfaris Point Panic with Waikiki Run on Decca. Like I said, it's in amazing condition. I mean, it's not a uncommon record. However, it is. I like to pick up anything surf, anything that's in that kind of condition. Because often back then they did get played a lot, and of course, a lot get left out of the sleeve where they didn't wind up looking that good. From 1963. I believe that was not the first pressing of that one. Here's one that's definitely not a first pressing because I own the first pressing of this one. This is from 1963, another surf single, Pipeline by the Shantays. And the original is on Downey Records, which I do find first pressings from Downey Records of this locally. I think we've been having in the videos. This is a great one. Since it's not the rare version, it's a great one for jukeboxes or just for playing. You can keep the original copies set aside. And this one goes for 75 cents on the low end to $11 on the high end. All right, and the ones I didn't really price were mostly like common ones that not worth a ton. This is a 1963 girl group, What a Guy by the Raindrops, but I mean, like I said, it's such a minty copy. I grabbed it. I don't think I paid a whole lot for these. Another one that's extremely common. Definitely good for a jukebox. We got 1963. We got Little Deuce Coupe by the Beach Boys with Surfer Girl. On the other side, I've got a bunch of copies of this. And you can imagine I'm in Southern California. The Beach Boys do pop up a lot. Let's see. Now we're going to go into, from 1961... I'm surprised I didn't price this one. The Frogman, this is a surf record. Underwater on one side on Candix, which also was the first label that the Beach Boys were on, was on Candix. And on the B side, it's the Mad Rush. Underwater's kind of, they actually have like frog sounds on the record. I played it, it was pretty cool. I love finding old surf and instrumental stuff, so this was definitely a great sale. Here's another local one. This one is, this is one I do find often locally. Usually not in this great a shape, but was a good local surf hit. 1963. It is Penetration by the Pyramids on the Best album. And this one pops up on a lot of surf compilations. Like, you have surf CD compilations. This one does pop up. B-sides, Here Comes Marcia. Shows a low of $2, mid of like $7, high of like $15. Definitely a good one to put in my surf box. I have a whole box of just surf records. And now we're going to go into the Surfaris and Wipeout. And you're saying, well, that's a pretty common record. This is, I believe, the second pressing for what I could find online. And from 1963, it's on Princess Records. So I believe later on they were on Dot. This is their first press where it had the shorter version of Surfer Joe. This is like the 2-minute and 20-second version of Surfer Joe. The first pressing had a longer version, which I think they pressed. I think I read they were pressed like 750 copies of that one. So that one's like obscenely rare. But these are pretty rare. They go for, according to Discogs, low of $174.99, mid $215, and high of $255. So I did play both sides to make sure it was good, and it's good. That's probably going to be more of like a collector piece for me. Obviously, I've got the much more common Dot label version of this one. Of course, you know, it's a very common song, very well-known surf record. Here's another one. This is a rock and roll instrumental from 1963 on Arlen Records. Bust Out by the Busters. This one has a lot of saxophone, so like kind of like a rock and roll record with a lot of saxophone in it. And the B-side is Astronauts. I will apologize. I've been having like allergies lately, so my throat is not the greatest. So here we go. This one I marked as surf-ish. The only sold comp I could find was $21.74. It is from 61 on Rust Records. It's Desert Tramp by the Nomads. And then on the B-side, we got Bounty Hunter on Rust Records. I always like to find these local labels. You know, the minor labels, I should say. Here's another surf. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of surf and instrumental in here. This one's in such fantastic condition. Originally, it would have had a picture sleeve, which unfortunately is long gone. From 1963, we've got Dick Dale and his Dale Tones. And he definitely was the king of the surf guitars. Of course, on Capitol. And on the other side, we got Hava Nagila. So, actually, the king of the surf guitar actually has the vocals on it. But, of course, obviously, he's very well known for instrumentals and Miserlou and all that. 1964, we got another surf record. Big surprise. This one says low of $25, mid is $32.50, high is $39.99. It is, according to them, it was the first pressing of this one. According to Discogs, it's from 1964. Get It by the Silvertones on Goliath Records, and I believe there's like several label variations of the Goliath release. And it might have been, I think it was released on another label. I can't remember what. On the other side is Bathsheba. I am definitely going to be putting a lot of the stuff in my surf box. And just because, why not? It's a surf record out of Texas. This one has a sold comp of $25. The Cornells with Lone Star Stomp on Garrick's Records. On the other side is Beachbound. And Lone Star Stomp in parentheses is Deep in the Heart of Texas because it uses the melody of Deep in the Heart of Texas. But it's a surf record, so kind of cool. Here's one. Okay, we got to look a few more commons, then we'll get to. I can't remember how I mixed these up. So we did fun from '64. Bit of a hot rod record. We got Running the Daytonas with GTO, and I pretty much bought this because it's just a minty copy. I know I have a couple copies of this. One of them doesn't play very well, and I think the other one, I bought it at a thrift store and it wound up being cracked when I got it home. And then from 1957, this is another one that's fairly common. CC Rider, Chuck Willis on Atlantic. And Ease the Pain. If I'm not mistaken, I have a 78 of this. I'm not sure. I gotta remember. Another big surf record, one that's probably not a super expensive record though. The Tornadoes with Telstar, which is one of the earliest uses like of electronic music or synthesizer, and Jungle Fever on the B-side. But Telstar obviously is the hit. It was off of the communications satellite that was put into orbit, so then they named their song Telstar because since that Telstar satellite was in the news so much, I guess that's why they use it as a name for the song. It's obviously an instrumental song. I'm sure most of you know the song. If you watch this channel, you know what song it is. Another one this one I find a lot, but not in this condition. Usually it's trashed. Wild Weekend by the Rebels. Another cool rock and roll instrumental. And Wild Weekend, Cha Cha on the B-side. Hit record, but this one is in superb condition. So, I know I have other copies. I believe that's got to be probably my best copy of that. Another instrumental that was a massive hit on Fraternity. It's Lonnie Mack with Memphis. Again, I bought this because of the condition. It's not really particularly valuable or anything. Big hit from 1963. Another Swan Label record from '62. It is a surf and low of $2, mid $7, $8.88, and a high of $35.44. It's a really nice copy, and I did play it. It's Jack the Ripper by Link Wray. Of course, most of you guys know Rumble. You find Rumble a lot. And the Black Widow on the other side. And just because you wanted more surf, we got more surf for you. This one's not worth a whole lot, but it's cool because it's in good condition. I believe it's Dennis Wilson plays on this one, or I think I read. My Stingray, the 4-speeds on Challenge. It's one of the Wilsons plays on this. RPM by the 4-speeds. So I said, just that condition alone, you grab it. Talking about Bob Keane earlier, we got this from 1963 on Delphi. This one has a low of $6, mid is $7.97, and a high of $34.18. Surfer Boogie by the Lively Ones on Delphi. And then on the B-side, Ricketic. So this one's pretty fantastic. I mean, these were out of the sleeve, mind you, and they're really nice. I mean, I think it was this guy pulled them out of the sleeve, threw them in a box, and just left them there, and didn't move the box or something. That's the only I could think of. Here's another one. Another Beach Boys. Again, a lot of these some of these originally came with picture sleeves, some didn't. It's always nice to find them in good shape where they're playable. Surfing USA with Shutdown on the other side. These are great for jukeboxes. I've actually got 12, I can't remember how many, I got about 12 jukeboxes now. Not all working at the same time, but I have a couple of them that aren't working that are the ones where you can see the label, so I like to put the original 60s labels in those, since it looks cooler when they're playing. And then we got Surfer Girl, Little Deuce Coupe. So these are ones that pop up a lot in Southern California. And from 1961, I didn't price it. This one's not worth a lot, but it's Tequila Twist by the Champs. So they had to keep that whole tequila thing going. And Limbo Rock on the B-side. Of course, Chubby Checker had the more popular version of that. And then I always like to grab these Dwayne Eddies when they're nice. I realize there's a lot of them. Got Pepe and Lost Friend. Nothing particularly rare or valuable, but like I said, the actual wax is so nice. Another common one. On Warwick, we've got Johnny and the Hurricanes with Reveille Rock and Time Bomb. Going back to the beach, more surf records, more surf music. This one's actually written by Brian Wilson. It's not the Beach Boys though. It's Little Honda by the Hondells. And on the B side, we've got Hot Rod High. Nothing particularly expensive there. That was a massive hit. It was originally done, I believe, as a commercial for Honda motorcycles in the 60s. And of course, they actually released it as a single and it became a hit. Another one, Woohoo by the Rocketeens on Roulette. That was a big hit. Again, usually these are trash. This one's really nice. I grabbed it. Untrue. So not a rare record. This one was kind of, I'm not going to do that one. This one's kind of neat. The Ramrods from 1960, Ghost Riders in the Sky. Nice eerie guitar, a zigzag on the flip side on Amy Records. Again, not a particularly valuable, but still cool one to throw in the surf box. Another juke. I'm not going to pull this out of the sleeve because it's minty. Beatles, Obladi Oblada with Julie on the B side. It's of course it's a much later pressing than so those are okay to throw in the jukebox. You're not worried about it. Dwayne Eddy, Stretching Out with Guitar Man. Should we find anything more interesting here? Orlons, Don't Hang Up. Another big hit. Said something I bought just because of the condition. Let's see here. A little fast. I find this one too locally. Billy Strange got the 007 theme and James Bond theme, which I would assume would be almost the same thing, but two different sides to the record. Of course, that's a. This one also I've had pop up locally before. 63. I Wonder What She's Doing Tonight. Burying the Tamerlanes. Again, probably mostly bought it because of the condition. Nothing spectacular record wise. Another surf hot rod hit. Hey Little Cobra by the Ripcords on Columbia with the Queen on the B side. Of course, that's a massive hit. Just a fun one. And we're going to go do Jan and Dean, and we'll have a Jan and Dean LP coming up too. Jan and Dean with Surf City on Liberty and She's My Summer Girl. So, in fact, I was just in Huntington Beach for a concert a couple weeks ago. Another one. Everybody knows this song. I don't have to explain it to you. The Do Ron Ron by the Crystals. Get it on the B side on Phillies. Again, probably more picked it up because of the condition. Big Motown hit, The Happening by the Supremes. I think this was like the only one that was still in the sleeve in the 45s. Beach Boys, 409. Surfing Safari. Another one for the jukebox. A much later pressing than original of Johnny Be Good on Chess. with a round and round. Check it out. It's got the says 2 guys. He bought 79-cent price tag. So is it 2 guys? They got 3 more guys, and then they started making hamburgers. That's how the story goes. All right, another Billy Strange instrumental. We got Goldfinger with the Munsters theme. I've got another copy of this somewhere too. So inside's got the Goldfinger, and of course, the hit for Goldfinger was Shirley Bassey. Another comment. I'm a big Roy Orbison fan, so I grabbed this one, Mama, with the Crowd, a monument. Another Motown Tamla. It Takes Two, Marvin Gaye, Kim Weston. And our last, this was, I didn't know what this was. I couldn't remember what it was, and I played it, and I was like, oh, okay, and it wound up being just a common Asia Minor, a Kokomo, and Roy's tune. Sometimes I'll grab like those kind of independent looking labels, and then I figure out what it is later, just to get out of there. I can't sit there and look up every record while I'm at the sale, so I take a lot of chances. So those are the 45s I got at this sale. Then we're going to go to the LPs. Now, since I live in Pasadena, I definitely had to pick. Okay, you already know where this is going. There's that Jan and Dean LP, low of $1, high of a 20. And I didn't have a copy of this, so it's like, okay, I don't believe I do. Little lady from Pasadena. I've got the 45, obviously, but the LP. And this guy really did keep his records nice, because, like, you know how these old cardboard style sleeve, the sleeves for the LPs they're usually destroyed. This one's actually not too bad. The record's in great shape. Let me put that there. We got from 1963, low of $1, high of 27. The Ventures' Let's Go. On Dalton. Of course, Ventures is like probably one of the more popular instrumental surf groups of all time. Probably, I would say if they're not the most popular, they're like probably in the top 3. 67 we got, and this one's kind of cool. Low of 185, high of 24. We got the Ventures. This one's Golden Greats by the Ventures. You can get a good look at that. And then check it out. We got Gatefold. Ooh. Gatefold. But it's another one where, the jacket's in amazing condition. The record's in great condition. And just because you wanted more Ventures, we've got from 1969, Hawaii 5-0. Again, the Ventures. You should know the theme to the TV show. All right, so I never had to borrow something, so if the camera moved, that's why, because I had to move the camera. From 1970, not an expensive one. It says someone sold one for $31.50. It must have been sealed. We got Booker T and the MG's greatest hits. I think this is like their second greatest hit, so it's like the later stuff. So this is the one with Time Is Tight. So I know the early greatest hits did not have Time Is Tight on it. Eleanor Rigby, Hang 'em High, Soul Limbo, Hip Hugger, stuff like that on this one. Of course, on Stax from 1970. That's when that compilation came out. And then we're going to get into 3 CCR records, because, again, they're pretty common, but I grabbed them because these records were all such nice condition. That's why I grabbed them. We got Willie and the Poor Boys. I don't know. I didn't look up the values. I just looked up. It's from 1969. Obviously, you find Creedence Clearwater. They're like the Beatles. They pressed a lot of copies, but people want them because it's Creedence Clearwater. That's why I did look up the value. This is the Liberty Records version, not on Fantasy, of Bayou Country. And it has a low of 5, high of, or mid 22, and a high of 50. I will say I don't usually sell records. I've sold maybe a handful since I started collecting or traded. People used to ask me about that. I think the ones that were in the videos, I maybe sold like 2 or 3 records, maybe more, maybe like less than 5 of the records I've had ever in my videos. I probably should start selling some, especially duplicates and whatnot. But they do have the PCC swap meet where they have a lot of record stuff, but it's on a Sunday when I'm always filming somewhere else, so I can't really do that, and you have to kind of get in line to be a vendor there and get a seller's permit, and I'm not dealing with that. Cosmos Factory. This one's from 1970. But like I said, it's such a minty copy. Usually they're not that nice. Here's kind of a weird one. We're getting into the disco era. This one, low of 6, mid 17, high of 30. We got Giorgio Moroder doing the Battlestar Galactica theme. It's just, I mean, I just had to buy this just to listen to it. It's pretty much what you'd expect of Giorgio Moroder doing Battlestar Galactica. Of course, he's best known for I Feel Love, Donna Summer, producing that. Now I'm getting this crazy glare. 1978, again, it was mint, why not? The Village People with Cruisin'. Now, when I was a kid, I had this on 8-track, so that's probably why I grabbed it. So, I think I was about 5 or 6, I had this on 8-track. I thought it was like the coolest thing ever back then. Another great 70s disco era, or I should say era on this one. ELO and Olivia Newton-John, the Xanadu soundtrack. Now, I remember when I was a kid, my dad actually taking me to see the movie, which was a complete bomb. The soundtrack did better than the movie did, for sure. Of course, Electric Light Orchestra and Olivia Newton-John. It was, both mega powerhouse in the music industry. Of course, it also has the Tubes on the record as well. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band with Night Moves. I did not have a copy of this, so I grabbed it because it's pretty minty. This one's got, of course, Night Moves, Rock and Roll Never Forgets, stuff like that on it. Funny story, we had a guy I was in the Navy with named Michael Seger, and since his last name was Seger, his nickname in the shop was Bob. So he's called Bob Seger. 68, weird anecdotes. 1968. This thing is minty, and it is the soundtrack to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And Ennio Morricone. Of course, this is like, everybody knows what this is. And if you ever want to just freak someone out, just put on the Ecstasy of Gold and crank it up. Of course, they used that in the beer commercial a few years ago, so... Here's kind of a neat one. Well, it's kind of like going along with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's a Fistful of Dollars soundtrack. Of course, the second installment in the Man with No Name trilogy. I do not have. I don't have For a Few Dollars More. Of course, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was the third one. Fistful of Dollars was the first one, and of course, For a Few Dollars More. Of the Man with No Name trilogy, so I'm missing the middle one. This one has a low of 5, mid 15. It says one is sold for $215. I don't know. It must have been sealed. This thing's pretty crisp, though. I was actually playing that earlier too. I was like, yeah, let's throw that on. And then another soundtrack from that era, 1968, with like a gatefold. We got 2001. A Space Odyssey, the classic Kubrick film. I didn't look up a value on that one because it's like, soundtracks are kind of tough and depends on what it is. This one's like, I grabbed it because it was so nice, and there you go. Alright, so that's the return of Mike Finds Things. Hopefully this edits together well because I'm not doing a second take. I got more records that I'm probably going to do a video on at some point, hopefully in the near future. At least we're trying to get this channel back going easily, if you will. So be sure to like and subscribe. Check out the other channel if you like classic cars. I'm doing Hot Rod Power Tour this weekend in my Mustang. So I will not be hitting any estate sales this weekend, but I do have other records from sales that I guess I could put into a video. And I may just start going back, which was the original idea of the channel, was also showing items I would find at sales or pick up collectibles and things like that. I may go back to that as well. All right, so that's about it. Let me know what you think of these records, where this channel's heading, and until next time, I'll be seeing you.